Hello, I'm Sergeant Hurst. I'll be demonstrating how to break down and reassemble a Kel Tec 380. First, give you an idea of the scale of this weapon. So, to drop your magazine, press that button, your magazine comes right out. Now to clear it, having already dropped the magazine, check the chamber. Chamber is clear. You're now ready to disassemble your weapon. Next, I'm going to unload the ammunition from my magazine, and I'll show you why in a minute. Set your ammunition aside, set the magazine aside. I'm going to disassemble the weapon first. To do that, you need to start by pulling this pin right here. I like to use a knife for this. You just kind of catch it on the top here, being careful not to cut into the plastic part on the lower part of your weapon. That could cause plastic pieces to jam your weapon. Very bad, especially if you're in the middle of a shooting competition. Just kind of work your pin out, pull it. Your pin is now free. Next, you push your slide forward. Comes right off. There's nothing else you have to do with the lower part of your weapon. Now, to take these springs off, you cover them with your hand like this so they don't fly off of there and potentially do some damage. Next, you take your barrel off. You push up on the bottom of it, slide forward, and slide it back. Your barrel is now free. Next, you take your springs off your slide. Then you take your large spring and your small spring apart. Your weapon is now fully disassembled. Disassemble your magazine. You take a small tool like this. Press down on this button right here, like this. Slide this plastic piece forward, like this. Now covering the spring with your finger so it doesn't shoot out of there. You just slowly let off the pressure. Take your back piece off. Take your spring out. Drop your guide. Your magazine is now fully disassembled. To reassemble this weapon, you do everything you just did in reverse. So I'm going to start with the weapon itself. You take your slide and your barrel. You put those together. Make sure that that locks in place properly. You take your bar and your small spring and you put them together. Then you take your large spring and put that over your small spring and your bar. This is now ready. Now, there's a little hole in the front of your slide right here. You have to line up the end of your bar with that. This is the only part, again, covering it to make sure it doesn't shoot off of there. This is the only part that can be a little bit difficult sometimes. Get your bar seated in that slot right there. Your slide is now reassembled. Now, making sure that your weapon is cocked so that the slide will go on there properly. You line up your slide with the tracks on the top of your weapon. Now you push back just a little bit on your slide and just work this pin in there. Check your action. Your weapon is now reassembled. To reassemble your magazine, you take the frame of your magazine, you take your guide, and you line those up, drop that in there. Then you take your spring, put that in there, making sure that the curved part of this piece is lined up with the curved part of your magazine, and you only have one notch pointing up. The other side has two. You press that in there like this. Then you take this plastic piece and line it up with the tracks on your magazine. Press down till it clicks. Your magazine is now reassembled. Next, you reload your ammunition. I like to push down on the one I just put in a little bit and then put the next one in, so that way it's a little easier to load. You load your weapon. Now since this weapon does not have a mechanical safety, you got to be really careful whenever you got a round in the chamber. If it doesn't want to go back all the way, just hit the back of it with the bottom of your hand, drop your magazine, eject the round you just put in there, and the final thing you have to do is decock it. The only way to do that is to pull the trigger. This weapon has been cleared, so it's safe to do that. Reload the round you just spent. Reload your weapon. Your weapon is good to go. Now to clean it, all you do, you just use a bore snake like this. Some people use patches, that's fine. I prefer this, a little bit faster. Just got to make sure you don't get it stuck in there. Sounds stupid, people have done it. A little bit of gun oil to make your actions move a little bit more smoothly. Then paper towel to clean up any excess gun oil you might have. And that's it. You're ready to hit the range. Sergeant Hurst out.